Hey, howdy and happy day. I want to talk about provinces and states, and I want to highlight their things that are kind of screwed up. It will only take a few minutes per province or per state, but of course do the math and that would be a lot of minutes in total. I'm going to start with British Columbia on the left coast in Canada, and I'm going to work every now and again. I'm going to pick a province. It won't be tomorrow, it won't be the next day, but I'm going to work east, and then I'll go south and all the way up to the U.S. left coast, which of course is California. There are so many things in every province and state that the laws and other things that are created by the governments in power that just make your head spin, and you wonder, how can this be? These people actually work for me. It's quite amazing. So in British Columbia, I'll go over the list first, the things that I'm going to get to, and that'll be Indians and lawyers and PST and GST and ALR, property transfer tax and wills, mental institutions, healthcare, free drugs, plastic straws, and there's so much more. A lot of material to work with, but I'll just kind of highlight them if I can, and you'll get the sense. And then if you live in British Columbia, go tell somebody to fix this. Get a politician and grab him, her, and maybe shake them up a little bit and get the job done. For those of you who don't live in British Columbia, don't let this come to a town or a province or a state near you, please. You know, in terms of the Indians, the 1% of the entire population of our country is full-blood Indian. And British Columbia, I don't know the percentage offhand, but it's not very big. But they've got power. The government gives them power, more power all the time, and money. It's quite incredible. If you want to do a real estate development of size, even a small size, you have to get Indians to sign off. They don't know anything about what you're doing, but they have to sign off. All of a sudden, it's like they're your partner. It's beyond incredible. With regards to the lawyers, recently, lawyers in British Columbia through the Law Society were told that, hey, you'll be banned from practicing unless you go take this course. It is about Indians. Upon completion of this course, you will be able to acknowledge the existence of Indian nations' law and governance system prior to the arrival of Europeans. Wow. And then it goes on number 2 to say you have to recognize that the Canadian legal system is rooted in colonization. You have to appreciate the ways in which colonization and discrimination biases the Canadian legal system. Ooh. You have to understand that some of the past and present impacts of colonial laws and policies on Indians has screwed things up. Ad-libbing there a little bit. You have to reflect on your knowledge and your role in advancing reconciliation. Somewhere in this mess, it also says that at the bottom of your email, it suggests that you put that you are on unceded land of Indians and, you know, God bless and so on, right? Wow. Well, firstly, these guys are lawyers. They practice law. I guess they haven't practiced long enough to get it right, because to be on unceded land, that's illegal. That's squatting. I mean, they own the land, I guess. It's like me stealing your bicycle and I send you an email all the time and on the bottom I put, I got your bicycle and I'm not going to give it back. Ha ha, gotcha, but it's your bike. You own it. That's just not how it should work. These are people from the legal system that are talking like that. Hey, but it is British Columbia. Cars, close to 200,000 vehicles sell every year in British Columbia. And the government gets what's called the PST, property transfer tax, goes to vehicles. Now, the life of a vehicle is what? I don't know that. How many owners have a car? I don't know that. Several. And they continually get paid. Where's the money? Where does it go? You're talking billions of dollars. The average price of a car in Canada is $45,000. In British Columbia, it's higher than that. Considerably, I'm told. I don't have that number today. But the point is, they get money every day, every hour. They're getting more money. You go in and buy license plates, more money. Taxes, constantly. Let me tell you about my car. I have a car. I have 3 houses. Wow. I have cars at all my places. My wife has cars at all these places. So I ordered a new car. I had a Jaguar and I sold it by auction. Who knew? One of my auction sites, miniliveauction.com. I sold my Jag. I ordered a Cadillac Escalade. I thought, oh, I'm American up here, don't you know? And it came in the other day. And look at this. The car was $157,478. And then the taxes started. Remember that number, $157,000. That's ridiculous, but that's what I do, right? Then I got PST. That's the government of British Columbia. $31,779.40. Then I got GST, federal government, $10,122. And then I have the federal luxury tax, $11,779. Total for the car, used to be $157,000, is $212,000. Well, you know they're going to want undercoating and a bunch of other things. By the time I get out of there and get insurance, it's probably $230,000 for a car. Yeah, I'm going to do it because I'm not that bright, and I kind of like to have a car. but I'm mad all of the time. I had a guy say, get over it. I mean, it's twice as much in Taiwan. I said, who wants to live in Taiwan? I want to live in British Columbia from time to time. I'm not there very often, but when I am, it's just, I look at the car and it gives me something to get angry about. What do they do with the money? And then you get over to the property transfer tax. This is a real dandy. There's approximately 150,000 houses. In addition to that, of course, there's all kinds of commercial and industrial real estate, but over 150,000 houses sell at an average price of $1 million throughout the province. Billions of dollars go to the government for taxes. Every time there's a transaction, there's a property transfer tax to the government of British Columbia. Billions of dollars. Where's the money? Where does it go? I can tell you where it doesn't go. It doesn't go to healthcare. The healthcare system in British Columbia is totally broken. It doesn't go to mental health because there's people on the street that they're now giving free drugs to, and there's all kinds of mental health issues. And you know what the government of British Columbia did? They closed the mental institutions. There's no mental institutions. They should be in there themselves. But there should be a place to help these people. Their idea of help is just to take your money, taxpayer money, and buy these people drugs, give them free drugs. It's unbelievable. And then you've got the ALR. That stands for Agricultural Land Reserve. I think it's the only place in the bloody world that has it. They came along, some genius, and said, we need to make sure that there's farmland. And ALR land, a lot of it, you couldn't grow a carrot on. But it affects the landowner. I mean, they're not sufficiently compensated for their property, and it constitutes unreasonable interference from the government. Totally. They have no business doing that. Not only that, they compete with municipalities because councillors, town councillors, they already do that. And now you have a double dip thing, and that's what they do. And the last thing I want to whine about today is wills. If you make a will in British Columbia, let's say you have 2 kids, and you don't like one of them, and you've always told them he's not going to be in your will, so you leave all your money to just one. They have a committee of goons, the government, that after you pass, they come in and they look at it and say, we're not going to allow that, that's not fair. And they include the one that you didn't like. That's what they do. They do it all the time. And people say, that can't be true. And I say, well, die and you'll find out. Because it is true. They look after your money. They don't look after it. They monitor it. They govern it. They direct it after you pass. That's British Columbia. I could talk a whole day about British Columbia, but I'll save some of my energy for another province and then get into the States another day. Politicians, wake up. Talk about these things. People don't get to hear it. They hear it from me. Who am I? I've never been a politician. I'll never be one, and I'm not one now. And I'm yipping and yapping. Politicians should be talking about this. You should not be taxed like you are taxed, particularly when the money isn't needed. What do they do with the money? That's the question that I keep on saying. Where's the money, honey? Hey, y'all come back.